Homework for day 2 away would be on the back side of your sheet. I got cut off right at the end of the last video. Numbers 4, 5, and 6 on the more torque questions. And as well on page 501, we have one more to do there. Number 34, which is a ladder question. So on day 2 away, that's what our homework would be. If we were in the building, we would have gone out into the hallway and we would have done a few little hallway games that are kind of cool. So maybe whenever you're watching this, you could try them at home. One is a hall sit, and all of these have to do with center of mass. So for those of you who have been in phys ed, you probably know that a wall sit looks like this. So you put your back on the wall, and you put your legs so that you're sitting, but there's no chair underneath of you. So it should be a 90-degree angle between your knees and your legs and your butt and the wall. Okay, so it should be like this. And we would do it, we would line the walls with the locker, and I would time you to see who would last the longest. And it probably wouldn't take long before some of us would fall down. But I just want you to think for a second about center of mass and who this should be easiest for. Should it be easier for someone whose center of mass is higher, up closer to their shoulders, or lower, down closer to their belly button? I'll pause while you think about that. And in the end, it should be easier for the people whose center of mass is lower down here, because that's the part of your body that's anchored against the locker. For the people who have higher center of mass, it tends to be harder, more difficult. Now, for those of you that have great abs, doesn't really matter where your center of mass is. You're just stronger than the rest of us anyway, and you could win this contest. But usually it's easier for females. The second one is the plank. So with your feet on the ground, your body, your head, and then your arms. I know you don't really look like this. This is why I don't work for the art department. Okay? And then your arms here. So you're lying on your forearms and your toes. And again, I would time you to see who would last longer. And this time, the people who should last longer are the people whose center of mass is higher, because where they're being pulled down will be right over their arms. For those of us whose center of mass is down closer to our waist, this is more difficult because we're further away from the spot that's supporting us. And so we will feel it here. Again, if you have good abs, you can do this no matter where your center of mass is. And then the third one, which is my favorite. The third one is, I would have you find a wall that, and if it was the lockers, they're recessed in a little, so we try to do it not right where the lockers is. So then you put your toe against the wall, okay, and you go heel to toe 3 steps back. Okay, and so in the end, you're standing back here. Okay, so you stand heel to toe 3 steps back from the wall, and then using your hands, you lower yourself down from the waist. So if this is your waist, yeah, this is where my drawing ability goes down. And you put your head flat against the wall so that you're looking down. Okay? Keep your hands back here at your side. You can support yourself, like you can hold yourself as you lower your head, but once your head is flat against the wall, your back is flat, move your hands and hold them back here. Don't put them behind your back. It might even be better if you just have them coming straight down, but no putting them on like above your back or whatever. And then you try to stand straight up. And you can't tip your toes. You just try to bring yourself up. It's going to be more difficult for those of you whose center of mass is higher. You're going to feel like you're cemented against the wall. And you got to see people like Mr. Jewett and them trying to do it. It's hilarious. And if we were in class, some of you baseball or football people with a lot of upper body muscle, like you would be anchored on the wall. So when we're back together, we'll do this one just for humor's sake. Okay? And then another one we would do, and we'll try to do this when we get back to, is I have this spin table that you can stand on. So here you are standing on it. I know my picture goes down to a stick man. And I would give you a textbook to hold in each hand while you're standing here. So you have a textbook here and a textbook here. And then some of your friends would begin you to spin. And once you get spinning, we'll tell you to bring the textbooks in, and then you're just like that figure skater. And it's again about center of mass and torque. So when the textbooks are really far out, you're getting a lot of torque to spin you, and they're both acting in the same direction. When you pull it in, now your axis, the mass is closer to the axis of rotation, and so the speed of your spin has to go up. Okay, and it's about angular momentum and torque. Okay, so these two we will definitely try when we get back together, just because they're fun. These two you can try at home. Maybe if you do them each day, by the time we get back together, you can win the competition because your abs will be really great. Okay, so if you're working on questions, whenever you see this, these would be the next ones in the sequence to do. And the next videos I do will solve these. And then we'll look at torque at the top of the ladder, or friction at the top of the ladder, just to give you a little exposure to that. I would only really test the 12 ones on that, but you might want to see it. Okay, so try these, and we'll see you sometime soon, I hope.